They continue the momentum from St. Pete, and boy, after that test 4 where the push to pass wasn't working for you, what a recovery for you in the 60 team. But did you know it had that kind of speed to be able to be quickest in this group?
I mean, we tried to stay calm after the morning. I said, hey, we had a kind of messy session. I just tried to forget that session, take a deep breath and do it all again. But yeah, huge thanks to My Shank Racing, AutoNation, Sirius XM. The car was, it's so tricky out there, man. The wind is changing every lap. There's dust on the track. I was first out, so I was worried that it's going to be poor grip. But I could focus on my tire warm-up and everything like we did yesterday, so I felt a bit more confident when I went for the lap. And yeah, I guess all you have to do is put it together, and the speed is there. So awesome.
We were talking about how, you don't adjust your goals after a very good St. Pete. You keep it to very simple, just top 10s. But the more you guys show up and the more you show up with speed, do you start thinking, hey, maybe we need to up our goals a little bit for the year?
Yeah, a little bit. As I've been talking about, I think the race pace is what we want to really focus about. I think we've been good on one lap all year so far. And actually having 2 days here at Thermal has been super helpful just for us to communicate, try different stuff, see what works, what doesn't work. And I feel like we're just gelling every session together. So it's been huge for us for sure. But this is awesome. Let's see if Group 2 beats it.
Yeah, and so everybody's been talking about what qualifying would be like and what those 20 laps are going to be like on Sunday. But what do the heat races look like when you see this group that you're going to have to race in a heat race with?
I mean, it's an angry pack behind in the mirror for sure. Luckily here, I think, if you can get away clean, I think you should have it at least in the heat because, there won't be much drag. We did a long run this morning and we felt pretty competitive. So I think it's all about the start and getting away. But, man, everyone's going to go for it. That's kind of the beauty and the curse with this format. Everyone's just going to give it all. And that's what we did now and ended up first.
And Kevin, he mentions how crazy the heat races could be, but no better place to start than where Felix Rosenqvist will tomorrow.
And Scott McLaughlin will start right next to him. You look like you had a good time. That brought back some memories of that quali session, yes?
Yeah, that felt like a good old supercars shootout. I'm hell-bent. To have a qualifying session where it's just bang, 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 a shootout lap, one lap is pretty awesome, and that's effectively what that was. And to do a good job there was good. Congrats to Felix. I feel like I could have had him. I just mucked up that last corner, but you got to do the lap. It's pressure, and it's cool.
Well, reminds me a lot of oval qualifying. If you get one lap, and in this case, yes, you could have two, but you got to get it right on the push to pass lap.
Right, exactly. I think that would be really cool, but thankfully the XPEL Chevy was great. Obviously Chevy's been giving us great power this year and fuel mileage, so really stoked for everyone there, and yeah, hopefully we can keep this XPEL Chevy up the front.
So what do you expect for the heat race tomorrow, starting up front with Felix, knowing how do you approach that? You want to be in the top 6, but certainly you want to also improve your starting position for the feature.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll do what we can. Every race we go out, we want to try and win it. So, but it's a learning process too. We'll figure out what the car does even more so over 10 laps. But yeah, I'll be doing my bit to try and at least get ahead of Felix. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting where we all sort of shake up at the end of 10 laps.
Thank you. Scott McLaughlin starts second tomorrow, Marty.
Boy, Rinus VeeKay continues just to show speed when it comes to fresh tires, certainly. But how different was that qualifying session to leave pit road and be on it right away?
It's interesting. It's interesting. Just like this whole weekend, right? It's different. We got the push to pass too, which usually you can focus on one thing, but now we're pressing a button on the top of the steering wheel. But felt really good. One thing about this track with the wind, with basically a sandstorm just came through. Every session, maybe every outing, the car felt different. I think we just kind of nailed it for the conditions the way they were. So a little bit surprised. Didn't feel as good in practice, but very, very happy and great job by the guys.
The one thing that has been a struggle for the 21 team this weekend is being good on older tires. Did you make advances on that today in the practice sessions?
We have been working a bit on that. I think what really is an important thing is making sure that we have traction. So we don't burn down all the rubber on power. And that's really what felt like my strength here in qualifying, is that I could get up the corner really well with that wheel spin. So, yeah, happy.
So what will be the biggest key? If you're able to make the final 20 laps tomorrow, will aggressiveness be the biggest key? Conservative? What will be the biggest key, you think, to winning?
Staying on track. I think that's one thing. You only got to lead one lap, right? That's the last one. So first got to make it through to the All-Star race, and then to the $1 million challenge, and then we look further. But this starting position definitely makes tomorrow a bit easier to get in there.
So if you're second, couple laps left, 500 grand on the line, you willing to move someone for the win?
If I'm close enough, and I see a gap, I'll definitely go for it. Yeah.
There you go. All right, Rinus VeeKay, terrific starting spot tomorrow for the first.
Christian Lundgaard in the second row of that heat race tomorrow. You've been quick throughout the weekend. How do you feel about how this very short qualifying session went for you?
Yeah, it's for sure full commitment. I don't honestly know what Santino was doing. I don't know if he was just that slow, but from turn 7 and the rest of the track at the back, I knew that he was going to be in the way, and it was going to be a problem. I think we had at least that half a tenth that we're behind Felix, so it's a bummer, but I think we showed our true pace earlier.
And you have shown that pace. Can you make up these spots to get up front in the heat?
I guess we'll wait and see, but I got a feeling that they're looking at us as the most competitive cars, so I think they should be worried. I just think we need to go out there and have fun. You know, we're competitive, so I'm happy.
What's the strategy going to be like in these races, even a short heat race? Do you need to manage the tires to try to win it at the end, or is it, no, I got to get them at the start?
I think the heat race is going to be a very different strategy compared to the main race. But at the same time, you got to take the heat race first. You know, if you aren't in the top 6 there, you won't make it to the main race. So it's there. I think there's many different ways to approach it, but I think the 45 Hy-Vee Honda crew is going to be on the right strategy.
All right, thank you, Christian. Back to Marty.
Let's chat with Will Power. Boy, that was unusually quick, wasn't it? I mean, you're used to these qualifying sessions in IndyCar. How different did that feel behind the wheel?
Yeah, you literally had one lap. That's it. That's all you got. Yeah, because you have push to pass. I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's just one lap and the big dag. So yeah, it's very difficult to go. You know, wait 2 hours, track resets, different condition, and just go. But you know, it's tough.
How much guessing was there on your part, like going into that lap? I mean, did you know what the track was going to be like?
I did, I tried a couple of different things and made mistakes. But, yeah, I mean, maybe it was just about, honestly, the quickest time was a quick time. It was hard to put all that together. So for Rosenqvist to be P1, that's solid.
So how will the heat races play out, you think? Will it be chaos and everybody fighting for every inch? Because you know you get a new set of Firestones as soon as you start the final race if you're able to make it.
Yeah, it just depends what you want to do. I don't feel like doing much damage for, P6 or something. If you had a shot for the win, maybe, but yeah.
But P6 could mean $500,000 at the end of the day.
If you make it to that final and you're the other 11 other guys crash out. Yeah, well, yeah, once you're back there and it's such a short race, anything can happen. You know, just chill and see what happens.
Overall, when you look at all these test sessions, do you feel like as a group it was worth it? Because you were able to try a whole bunch of different stuff.
Well, yeah, I think the whole qualifying and racing made you not try stuff. Like you were just doing these qualifying scenes because you knew that the only way you're going to do well in this thing is qualify at the front. So they almost need to separate it. So here's your 7 sets of tires for testing so you can run them all the way out. We've got all these tires with just 2 laps on them. Yeah. Really good tires we're never going to use. It's kind of it felt like a waste.
All right, thoughts from Will Power after an interesting and very quick qualifying session, Kevin.
Let's talk to Augustine Canapino, who just out-qualified Scott Dixon, Colton Herta, Kyle Kirkwood. Year 2 seems to be going along pretty well. 8th in your group there.
Yes, honestly, the Group 1, I think, was the most tricky group in this session. But we are in a good position. Honestly, the lap wasn't good. We didn't find speed on the fastest corner. We need to check what happened. But the good thing is we are in a good position for tomorrow to try to enter to the main race.
So from that kind of a position, you need to pick up a couple of spots. What is the approach in this short heat race tomorrow?
I think the target is try to enter. Of course, we are starting on P8 alongside my teammate, Romain. And the goal will be try to enter. And we need to advance only 2 positions. It will be difficult, of course, many good drivers, top teams, but we had a good car, especially in the practice. We were much better. For some reason, my car wasn't good in qualifying on the fastest corner, but I think we can find this speed for tomorrow.
So along with trying to make sure you have a good race tomorrow, what have you learned this weekend that's going to help you moving forward throughout the season?
Oh, a lot. I remember the same moment, same place the last year, and I was completely lost. completely lost. I did a big improvement during my first year. I need more practice. I need more experience, especially with the new tires. But we are in a good situation. The team improves a lot, especially with Roman. So we are in a good situation. You can see the guys we have now behind us.
Agustin Canapino no longer needs a GPS. He's not lost, Marty.
Let's chat with Kyle Kirkwood. So we talked after the spin earlier. How was the car after that, though, Kyle, and in this session?
Yeah, fortunately, the only damage that we had was the rear attenuator just from boinking off the wall. So the car was fine. We've just been on the struggle bus, to be honest. Like, we started off okay, and we've almost been digressing as the weekend goes on, which is really confusing for us because when we were here a year ago, we were the fastest thing out there. So, yeah, really struggling. Honestly, our pace didn't show there in qualifying. I went quicker on a lap that was with the tires already gone off and without overtake on the third lap. Just so happened that a few guys in front of us, I think Colton and the guys drug some gravel and some dirt. I don't know who that was, but it just hindered our lap, and we kind of had to abort it, both of us. And then we went for a third lap without any overtake, went 100th quicker, but tires were gone and we didn't have overtake. So it sucks, but we're going to have some work to do tomorrow. Thank God it's not a points race, because I'd be in tears right now if this was Long Beach.
It's going to be fun, though, to watch Kyle Kirkwood tomorrow, because he's got nothing to lose tomorrow, Diff. So starts 13th. He's got to get in that top 6 if he wants to advance to the final race and race for
pit lane. Marty.
We were grabbing Pato Award, and you had your hands full out there, didn't you? Will Anderson was saying, man, he felt like the wind might have been a bigger factor than it certainly was for Group 1.
I think so. This track is very sensitive to heat, wind, and it was getting really gusty, especially there in the back over by the S's. There was a lot of sand on track. You can see from the rooster tails coming out of the cars. And as it was for us, it was just, it wasn't the most perfect lap for me, but I could never get the car to set. It was always wanting to go the opposite direction of where I wanted to go. So it was a bit of a fight out there, but it seems like we're not the only ones. I think a lot of guys are struggling with it, and it's just really, really gusty, and it just feels icy out there.
Do you ever remember a weekend like this where it's been literally different run to run all the time?
Not in IndyCar, but in a Formula One test, yes. Those cars are really, really wind sensitive, and I feel like we're getting a taste of that here. Maybe in Indy, where you're going so fast and the wind is a bit more of a factor, but it's definitely shifted a lot. You think you have a good car, and then you're going into it, and you're like, what happened to the balance? And not that it felt horrible, but it never actually got into, I feel like, operating window. I feel like the tires they never got to their sweet spot. And this qualifying session that we've got overtake, you've got one lap to do it, and once you choose your lap, you got to stick with it. So I'm glad that we tried in lap 2. I think Callum did as well. But it definitely seems like we're not the only ones that are struggling.
If it sticks like this, you'll be in the advantageous position of starting on the front row for your heat tomorrow in heat number 2. But give us a preview of what those heat races might be like and the aggression level you expect, hopefully, behind you.
Yeah, people will get aggressive to try and get into the big show. I know the top 6 is the cutoff, so it might look like some Supercross LCQ races. I think that's what you're going to be seeing tomorrow.
Palou doesn't need that, got it done. Did you expect to be able to go quicker on that last lap attempt?
Yeah, we haven't used it. Like, we started pushing and then the red flag came out. So, yeah, super proud of the 10 car and CGR. It's cool to see Armstrong there and also Linus. So, amazing. Yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. It's the best starting position, and happy that after all that confusion with the red flag and everything, we didn't know if we were going to be able to put a lap together. But yeah, happy with that.
And I think I'm hearing you only had like 12 seconds of push to pass. Is that right? So you just did it on an outright pace?
Yeah, we just had 14 seconds actually. Yeah.
14, okay.
I mean, we're using everything on the previous lap before it went red. So yeah, happy with that pace. Car is good. Team did an amazing job. So looking to tomorrow.
Well done. He will lead the field tomorrow, and if he wins his heat race, Alex Palou would have the pole for the feature. Marty. So we heard you before that red flag, and didn't sound like everything was going awesome. Where did that lap come from?
The old-fashioned pull it out sort of thing. Honestly, that's, Christian to me all weekend. It's just, and even in St. Pete, it's just consistency. Like, I just need the balance to be consistent, the brake locking to be consistent, and I struggled with it so much. And yeah, I mean, before the red, I went into 2, I was up, I was on a better lap than that, of course, and then, I went in there and locked the rears. So, lost the lap, but for Code 3 Associates, for everybody at RLL, it's just, yeah, we pulled it out, but I mean, it was nice to feel the competitiveness and feel that even on the second run on tires, without as much overtake, we were a little better off than most, but without as much overtake, we were still very competitive there. We were able to put one in, so, it gives us a good starting spot for tomorrow. I think 5th, right? Who was fastest? What group?
No, you're 3rd. So that is your race. That's the order for your heat race 2.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if we can advance from there, I think the odds or the
You guys were the fastest group.
Okay, so there you go. So that's what I'm asking. Yeah. So it's based on the group count to go to the finals. So for me, I feel like we're in a good spot. I also feel like our tire deg, we haven't had the ultimate speed, but our tire deg's been solid so far this weekend. So let's see what tomorrow brings. This is a pleasant surprise for me. So we'll go from there.
Awesome. Graham Rahal always moves forward, and he starts up near the front in the heat tomorrow morning.
Well, Scott McLaughlin front row.
They'll fire down into turn 1, a left-hander, heavy braking zone, and a lot of opportunity to either make a move or make a big mistake. It'll be fun to watch tomorrow, but from the back of row 5, row 6, Colton Herta, Scott Dixon, Kyle Kirkwood in line and in, I'm sure, a little bit of pain after that session, James. They would have expected to be way up front.
They would for sure, and a little bit of a different story here with that red flag in Group 2. It's all Ganassi on the front row. Graham Rahal, incredible move there to get up into the top 3. Further down, Rossi jumps up to be the highest qualifying McLaren on row 4.
Good confidence boost for Tom Blomqvist. Did well, so too Pietro Fittipaldi.